Next up, we have an interesting one from our Australian friends, ASX-listed copper explorer and developer Hot Chili. For those of you who tune in, you know that I'm a big copper fan. Since I was a kid, I just love that metal. All of its properties and the things that copper does, it really contributes to a lot of the things we enjoy in modern civilization that we sometimes take for granted. So happy to be joined by Christian Easterday, who's the managing director of Hot Chili. So who's Hot Chili? Well, they have an exciting portfolio of projects at a low altitude in Region 3 on the coastal range of Chile. The company is developing a central copper hub named Costa Fuego, which combines three of its projects into what is considered to be a very desirable copper. Well, it is the premium copper development location in the world. We all know about Chile and copper. So, Christian, are you there? There he is. Excellent. Welcome to the
Anthony.
Global Mining Symposium.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for welcoming me. It's always good when an Australian gets to present to the Canadian crowd, especially about a commodity like copper.
Hey, listen, we love our Australian friends. At our last Global Mining Symposium, we had a strong Australian presence. People were getting up at 5 a.m. Australian time to join us. Are you in Australia right now? And if so, what time is it where you are?
Yes, I am. It's about 11:30 at night. So it's looking forward to it.
Thank you very much. And Christian, I'll just let you know, here's an interesting one for our viewers. So part of the Northern Miner Group is also mining.com, which is our very strong free online news site. And this past month, for the first time in mining.com's history, more viewers from Australia, traditionally it's Canadian, more uniques from Australia than Canada. And when there's over 600,000 people a month that visit that website, a large number of Australians tuning into mining.com. And certainly a lot of the content from the Global Mining Symposium will flow through to mining.com as well. So you have the Canadian audience here, but you have your friends back home through mining.com that are staying tuned to it as well. So anyway, with that, I pass it over to you, Christian. Please take us through the investment opportunity.
Excellent. No, thank you very much, Andrew. Well, I'll share a screen and we can jump straight into it. But I guess for the last month, it's been a very exciting period for Hot Chili. Most people know that Hot Chili has been one of the flag wavers for copper in the Australian market for some time. We've been down in Chile for a number of years, building out a resource base and on the coastline, some 600 kilometers north of Santiago. So we're one of the very few coastal range players at low altitude in a very infrastructure-rich part of Chile. But I guess a month ago, the world kind of changed for us. Most people know that Hot Chili has been putting out some of the world's best and longest drilling intercepts in the copper space of the last 2 years. So great to finally be able to present the arrival of Cortadera, one of the very few major copper discoveries to have occurred in the past 4 or 5 years globally. So just quickly, a little bit about Hot Chili. We're actually active in all three spheres of investment in the mining sector. First and foremost, we're an explorer, and we have I guess been catapulted to a real position of strength, and certainly the leading copper gold development on the ASX. And that's really been all about that private Cortadera discovery that we spent 2 years trying to secure, that happened to be just on the other side of the Pan American Highway, 14 kilometers away from our very large investment that most people recall is associated with the company, which is our Productora project. So a month ago, we after 1 year of drilling this private discovery, we've been able to establish a 450 million tonne resource base from surface in a very large porphyry discovery that even as of 2 days ago continues to extend and put out world-class intercepts. But I guess the announcement was just as much about what that has done for our combined development, which we're now calling Costa Fuego, and that's the put together of our projects. And we're now sitting at 750 million tonnes for around 3 million tonnes of copper, 2.7 million ounces of gold, and just under 10 million ounces of silver. So I guess it's been a real catapulting of Hot Chili right to the top of the copper gold space on the ASX, and now coincidentally starting to sit shoulder to shoulder with some of the largest developers on the TSX. So just quickly, copper and gold space, a very, very good space to be in. Some of the real key commodities that are driving value for investors on the Australian market and also over in the North American market. But it's the significance of Cortadera. Look, this is one of just two major discoveries in the copper space, really since 2014. So it's really been Rio Tinto with their Winu discovery in Western Australia, and Hot Chili with their Cortadera discovery, with our Cortadera discovery on the Chilean coastline. And really, the last year has been an absolute hit parade of fantastic drilling results by Hot Chili coming out of this project, near 1,000 metre drilling intercepts from surface, and all containing very wide intersections of high-grade core in this 2.3 kilometre long discovery that's just emerging. So as I said, it's this Cortadera announcement that just occurred a month ago and is behind a re-rate of the stock to some 5 times in the past few months, is just about as much about our get together of the Costa Fuego project. So a low altitude, clean concentrate project in the middle of infrastructure in one of the key investment destinations to build a large copper project. So we're really knocking on the door of a tier 1 project, and it's this infrastructure advantage that we spent 10 years establishing that we're now about to really be able to leverage. So you can see here the two main projects in Productora and Cortadera sitting within trucking distance and probably conveyor belt distance. And the blueprint we have for this project is not dissimilar to what Teck and Newmont Gold Corp are doing, about 100 kilometers, but up in the high Andes at 4,000 meters, not 800 meters altitude, in joining their Relincho and El Moro deposits, which are joined by a conveyor, or going to be joined by a conveyor some 40 kilometers apart. These two very large open pit projects are going to be joined by probably a conveyor, and they only sit 14 kilometers apart. And like I say, probably one of the most enviable infrastructure positions to build a global scale copper project. So where has that put Hot Chili? It's like I said at the beginning of this presentation, it's moved us out of the ASX projects, and you're looking at a graph here of the largest copper projects in the world outside of a major mining company. So Costa Fuego has moved in red out of the ASX crowd in red, and we now sit with some of the top projects, which are all coincidentally housed in the North American market. So you can see some of the peer projects around us in the Solaris Coppers of the world and Antiquaries of the world at similar scale. And what this has really done is really driven a significant re-rate in the company from 1 cent when we announced this deal at the beginning of last year. Unfortunately, hitting a bit of a speed bump at the COVID slump, but being able to put a strong amount of share price growth into the company to have us at around 120 million. But we have a project now that is sitting in a sort of 150 to 500 million market capitalization space. And the next year, we're aiming to take that deposit towards a tier 1 asset and be one of the very few juniors in the world holding a brand new tier 1 copper asset, some 35 billion US of in-ground value, and something that we're very much putting underneath us to re-rate this company and give the world another SolGold in the making. So hopefully that gives you a very good summary, Anthony, of what we're up to.
It absolutely does. Let me get my video going here. This looks pretty exciting. The histogram jumps out at me with Costa Fuego now moving up, and you said coincidentally most of those ones are TSX, but it's, as we know, it's not coincidence. What it is to really get these, once you get that kind of scale, we've seen the story. The ASX does such a great job with these junior miners coming up, and when it's time to build a mine, it's almost inevitable that you need to kind of touch these North American markets. There's so much capital comes out of them for them. This story would have a lot of traction, I think, on the TSX. What's the plans on that front? Are you looking at a dual listing?
Exactly, Anthony, and that's been one of the first questions I get asked when we start bringing up the peer space comparison that Wood completed, to put this into context, because it's something that we very much are planning. Our next step next year is to take this into the tier 1 space, plus 5 million tons of copper, probably up around 5 million ounces of gold, massive store of value sitting in a company. That's valued where we are on the ASX. And that's because the ASX don't play in the big copper space. We generally play in the higher grade space that's a little bit smaller. So it's certainly on the cards. We're certainly looking at it next year. But very exciting times for us. It's not. One of the key problems with the copper industry is we are not finding these big deposits. So when I sit here alongside Rio Tinto, as the only other company that's discovered one of these things since really 2014, there's the significance there of what's going on with Hot Chili. So we'd certainly love to have a growing presence in North America.
Fantastic. Well, this is a great foray into that and making people aware. You referenced Soul Gold. Nick Mathers, a friend of ours. He actually won the Northern Miner Person of the Year a couple of years ago. He was part of the Global Mining Symposium the year before. So is that a good model? I mean, obviously they're in Ecuador. They have the gold element to it. But
you've got a very similar situation, nearly an identical capital structure. In the Americas, we're in Chile on the coastline. It's arguably we would say, we're probably one of the best located development projects going around. But we have a lot of common people working on this project. Actually, Dr. Steve Garwin, who's, as you would know, the principal porphyry guy that's been leading the Alpala and Cascabel drill out and growth with the Soul Gold team. He's also now leading Hot Chili's team on the ground with the Cortadera discovery and growth. So very similar approach going on here at Hot Chili, and we'd be very happy to push into that 500 million to $1 billion market capitalization space with our next steps.
Fantastic. Well, Christian, really happy that you're here to introduce this story to a lot of our audience, and we'll look forward. You're on the radar now, so we'll look forward to following it. And as Christian said to our audience, kind of looking at maybe kind of next year, kind of spring, summerish for possible dual listing. That's kind of the timeline.
Yeah, I think we're already having conversations, and to be able to time that around this next resource upgrade that really puts us on the map, drives us towards a top 5 project globally outside of the hands of a major mining company. I think that sounds like as good a time as any, don't you, Anthony?
I think that sounds like a pretty good time. I referenced this off the top with Robert Friedland being in Toronto in March, and really articulating the way Robert is able to do about what the opportunity for copper is in how the macro trend over the next 5-10 years, that we're even bullish people maybe are underestimating what the electrification of our entire economy and a low carbon economy really means for copper. Pretty exciting time to be at a position that you're in right now with a new discovery. That's
these things when you're in long investment spaces like large copper are all about timing. So to be hitting our straps now, couldn't be happier. It's been a long wait to be able to spring this ambush on the market.
Excellent. Well, again, Christian, great to meet you. Look forward to seeing you in the future as you continue to grow this out. All the best into 2021 to you and to Hot Chili.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
Cheers. Bye-bye.